Alright, so everyone's getting gassed about this transfer window, and to be fair, I get it. We're finally moving like a real club again. There's actual direction, actual plans, and Mbeumo wants to come. We've signed Cunha, we're chasing Gyökeres, and if we land a top midfielder, a proper goalkeeper, and a left wing back, that's a serious window. Like on paper, this could be the best summer we've had in years. But here's the thing that no one really wants to say it out loud. Even with a great window, there are still questions that need to be asked about Ruben Amorim. Because if we're being honest, last season wasn't smooth. I know people will say he needed time, that he inherited a broken squad, and that's true. But at the same time, we saw something that's kind of worrying. When things go wrong, when key players are missing, or when the system isn't working, Amorim hasn't always adapted. It's not about slating him or saying he's not the guy. It's just that next season is going to be ruthless. If we're hit with injuries or a few signings don't settle, can he really tweak things? Can he improvise? Because if you look closely, that's one area where he struggled so far. We've seen it throughout the season and especially in the Europa League final. So, yeah, let's get into it. Last season, Amorim came in with a clear identity. A back three, two midfield pivots, two wing backs which were supposed to be bombing forward but turned out to be very defensive, and inside 10s linking play. It's a system that works when the pieces fit, but that's the key thing, because when everything didn't fit, when he had to throw in Delo at left wing back, or when Mainu started fading, or when Højlund couldn't find the net for 21 games straight, what was the reaction? Nothing. No tactical switch, no reshuffle. Just rinse and repeat. That same back five, that same slow build-up, that same hope that it would somehow click again. Bro, you saw it in the Europa League final. Spurs were outplaying us tactically and physically, and Amorim just stood there. No big changes, no momentum shifts. Like, we had players on the bench that could have changed the game, but it felt like he was waiting for the system to fix it itself. And look, I get it. Every manager has a philosophy. You want your team to master one way of playing, but this is the Premier League. You're gonna get injuries. Players are gonna lose form. And sometimes, the only thing keeping you in games is your ability to adapt quickly. Managers like Klopp, Guardiola, even Arteta in the last 2 seasons, they've all shown flexibility when needed. Amorim? Not so much yet. So yeah, last season taught us something. It told us that if the machine breaks, Amorim might not know how to rewire it. That's not hate, that's just what the evidence says. But I'll say this, that doesn't mean he can't grow. The question is, will he? So here's the thing. I'm not saying Amorim's system is trash. When it clicks, it's genuinely one of the most fluid, balanced setups in Europe. We've seen glimpses, fast transitions, aggressive pressing, wing backs creating overloads. It can be beautiful. But here's the catch. It only works if every single part of that machine is functioning. You need fit wing backs with elite engines. You need midfielders who can cover ground and move the ball with tempo. You need inside 10s who can find pockets, link with the striker, and press like maniacs. And to be fair to Amorim, this summer, it looks like we're trying to build that. If we actually land Victor Gyökeres, that's your pressing forward, that's your outlet. If we get Mbeumo, that's someone who can play both wide and inside, perfect for the right 10 role. Add a midfielder and a proper wing back, it's a squad that could finally execute what Amorim wants. But here's the worry. Again, what happens when those ideal players aren't available? Because let's be real, injuries happen. A 5-man backline relies heavily on chemistry and repetition. Lose 2 or 3 key players and suddenly it's a completely different team. And if Amorim can't or won't switch it up, that's when things start to collapse. And I get it. We don't want to become a team with no identity. That's what we were under Ten Hag towards the end. Just vibes and prayers. But being too rigid is just as dangerous. Football moves fast. You either adapt or get left behind. So yeah, the system can still work, but only if Amorim evolves. Only if he starts thinking like a manager who can coach in multiple gears, not just 5th gear. You can have the best tactical blueprint in the world, but in this league, it means nothing if you can't adapt when the wind changes. So look, even if we sign Gyökeres, Mbeumo, a new midfielder, goalkeeper, and a left wing back, let me be real with you. that doesn't mean all our problems are magically solved, because what people are forgetting is that systems don't win titles, squads and managers do, together. And right now, we're still way too fragile on both ends. Like literally, you can sign good players, cool, but depth is what separates top teams from nearly men. You think City don't deal with injuries? They do, but Pep has a plan A, B, C and D. Amorim? If he loses one key player, the whole team starts wobbling. Remember when Ahmad got injured last season? It felt like half the structure collapsed. We were out here playing Mazen Dalot at wingback and suddenly everything looked defensive, slow and sideways. If we go into this season thinking one good summer window fixes everything, we're lying to ourselves. And it's not just about buying players, it's about managing them properly, rotating, evolving, creating multiple solutions. And I'm not sure Amorim's shown enough of that yet. But yeah, that's just my opinion in it. You lot let me know what you think in the comments. It also doesn't help that the players we already have aren't the most tactically flexible either. Players like Mainu, don't get me wrong, he's talented, but can he really thrive in this rigid system? Or are we forcing him into roles he's not built for? That's the dilemma. If your system demands perfect pieces at all times, it will eventually break, and no summer transfer window can guarantee perfection. It's why I keep saying the squad can't carry this alone. The system must be able to adapt, because if we're just banking on everything going right, no injuries, no dips in form, no bad runs, then we're literally just playing fantasy football, not real football. So yeah, we might sign some ballers. The recruitment might look smart, but the real question isn't who we buy. It's what happens when things go wrong. Because let's be real, football seasons aren't clean. You don't go 9 months with a perfect squad. People get injured, players drop form, the system gets figured out, the media starts turning, and that's when you need a manager who can feel the game, who can read what's happening, live, and actually make a change that swings the momentum. Right now, Amorim hasn't shown that for me personally. What happens when Gyökeres is out for 6 weeks? What happens when Mbeumo has a dip in form? Are we just going to roll out the same 3-4-3 with Dalot at wing-back again and hope for the best? Because I saw that movie last season and I hated it. Like seriously, you can't have a coach who needs every variable to go his way just to produce decent football. That's not elite, that's fragile. You're building a house of cards and all it takes is one injury to send it crashing down. Look, I'm not saying sack him. I'm not even saying he's a bad coach. But let's stop pretending he's a guaranteed success just because he has a clear philosophy. It's 2025, everyone has a philosophy. The real test is when your philosophy gets punched in the mouth. What do you do then? Right now, Amorim hasn't answered that question, and until he does, I'm not buying the hype. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments.